If I believe there's a reason for this pain I'm going through, if I believe that leaving me was all that you could do, if I believe that I can feel you by my side, I'll make it through the night. If I believe that time will teach me how to find my way, if I believe that broken hearts grow stronger every day, if I believe that now you're dancing across the sky, I just might get by. If I believe that memories won't always hurt this much, if I believe that I will see your face again, I can wait till then. If I believe I'll hold you in my arms again, I can wait. I know that I can wait. I can wait till then. I can wait till then.
I'm sick and tired of the poison that's been destroying my peers. Never mind the 72,000 poisoned to death a year. Multiply that by the buckets of tears that pour from the eyes of broken families over loved ones that ain't here. Drug dealing doctors over prescribing painkillers that made it their career. Making millions selling drugs, yet they're still free in the clear. Escaping federal penitentiary scares and prison tears. Slanging poison in a pill form. Purdue Pharma is the drug cartel for this epidemic to be born. And here we stand in the eye of the storm, surrounded by families whose hearts have been ripped and torn. Every day they still mourn over lost loved ones who didn't deserve death. With every beat I have in this chest, with every breath that I have left, I'll do my best to inspire those who are helpless. By showing them the action I take in every step. You don't have to be next, a fallen angel over the poison you inject. I don't want to see another beautiful soul laid to rest.
This ain't a dedication, it's a result of experimentation. This ain't a PSA against today's administration. This is a plea to users to hopefully get through to you. I'm tired of attending these services, we're reviewing you. I'm sick of seeing youngsters shooting up by the dumpsters. Cemeteries are filling up, headstones with names of classmates. The pain, the losses that we sustain, and all we do is refer to them as angels that we gain. Watching my sister struggle with addiction, losing kids in a crib raided leading to eviction. Hearing stories of somebody that I consider stronger than many. To be this weak's a miracle that you live longer than many. A best friend who rehabilitated, a sobriety that we celebrated. The positivity you generated, then you faded. Rehabilitation was over. Thinking back, I guess you were just pretending to be sober. And I don't give a damn who I offend, the message is loud and clear. You dealers, get the fuck out of here. Poisoning the kids for a cheap dollar, it's nonsense. Like you don't really care, these lives lie in your conscience. And doctors get you hooked legally. That's why I look at y'all and hustlers on the streets equally. Prescriptions, addictions, from addicts to victims, it's all relative. Those that prescribe it just as dangerous as the ones selling it. Poison. I pray for those lost souls as soon as my eyes close. Hold my loved ones close and hope they're never exposed to the poison. I pray for those lost souls as soon as my eyes close. Hold my loved ones close and hope they're never exposed to the poison. Got a call from my wife on the phone, sobbing uncontrollably, asking me to come home. Her friend Cindy died in a hotel room alone. Overdose on some shit she didn't do on her own. Year later, same time, I would lose my boy Colton. Went from having a heart of gold to leaving ours broken. Lost my boy Eddie, lost her homie Casey. So many names around the angel of hope, it's crazy. I guess my song Tears only fell on deaf ears. I didn't raise awareness and fairness. All I keep seeing is people speaking so fucking careless. They argue about it being labeled a disease, they'd rather call it a choice. Well, I'm tired of burying friends, so I'ma be their voice. And if it ain't a disease, then neither is AIDS. I mean, they're both preventable, the end result is the same. Too many victims nowadays, will we recognize the names? And I understand your anger, I hear what you're saying. When they're leaving needles in their playgrounds, kids playing, or they steal from their families in exchange for a fix. When you got relatives you don't allow to be near your kids. And how am I supposed to raise mine, knowing that fentanyl's being supplied? The city next to the one where we reside. How do I keep the poison away from my boys when they're old enough to make their own choices? I don't know what else to say anymore. It don't discriminate or care whether you rich or you poor. From celebrities to people that you know from next door, the consequences never supersede the need to get more. So before you pop that pill, before you snort that cane, before that needle touches your vein, let me explain to the people that have used and to those that still do. All I can say to you is it'll eventually kill you. The poison. I pray for those lost souls as soon as my eyes close. Hold my loved ones close and hope they're never exposed to the poison. I pray for those lost souls as soon as my eyes close. Hold my loved ones close and hope they're never exposed to the poison.
The poison is like venom in your veins, chasing that first fix, but it'll never be the same. Waking up sick and insane until you stick that needle prick to numb the pain. But are you sick enough to change? Watching everything you love go down in flames, where jails, institutions, and death are the only options that remain. What about your mother's tear stains as she sits at a candlelight vigil just to hear them call out your name? Another angel gained their wings from an overdose over the poison powder or dope. If you're still out there using, understand the Grim Reaper is close, coming to take everything that you love the most. Caught up in the grips of addiction, it's hard to find hope. But you don't have to be another statistic, another memorial card added to the stack on the shelf. I know it's the hardest thing to do, but reach out for help and save yourself before you reach the gates of hell.
Well, let me tell you something. The first time I saw this video, I was totally amazed by it. I think it was really, really well done. First of all, my name's Joanne, and welcome to the Somerville Overcoming Addiction show. And we have a special guest, the Navigator, Marcial.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
No problem. I was just so... People have to be more aware of what's going on. You know, there's so many people that are passing on, and I think that's the reason why you did it. Why don't you just explain why you decided to make this?
My music, I usually make music that has a message or a purpose. It's just what I've always done ever since I started to make music. I was raised around this type of stuff. I was raised in Woburn for basically my whole life. And as the years went on, I'm seeing people go, and these are young people that I went to school with, people that are still in their 20s, maybe even teenagers. So as the years went on, we starting to see more names. I flipped my yearbook, and from a 3-year span, for example, my 8th grade yearbook, if I look and see 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I could probably read off about 20 names that are no longer with us. And it's crazy because Woburn is a small town, but this is happening everywhere. This video, I wrote the song a day after attending a friend's service. It's a young man by the name of Casey. He passed away, I believe it was in September. And that was, I believe, the third wake that I attended that was drug or substance abuse related. And I just, at that point, I said, I gotta do something. I gotta, do something to put a message out there, to raise awareness, to do something. I just can't sit back and watch people go, people that I care about, people that I'm friends with, relatives, whatever the case may be. So I decided to start writing the song. And I knew that a message like this, I can't just deliver the message. I think you have to see the message. So that's why the video came about the way I decided to deliver it, for people to see the effects.
Well, I was very impressed by it.
Thank you.
I think you should do this for a living. No, seriously. I mean, there's so many people like myself. I've lost my son it was 9 years, November 15th, and we see it every day. When we watch TV, there's always something about substance abuse, whether it's 4, 5, 7, and it's just a short period of time. It's like you have to be more aware, everyone, because, in numbers, we have to show our support in numbers together. We need to get rid of stigma.
Right.
And yes, we have to worry about a lot of things, but once you lose someone to addiction, they never can come back. So the thing is that they really need to be aware of what's going on. Make sure that your children are more educated, about drugs. Does it matter how it's presented? I don't think so. I don't think we should worry about that. Somerville, you need to start talking to the kids a little bit more.
I agree. And it's crazy you said that, November 15th. That's the exact date that I lost one of my good friends, Colton, November 15th of 2013. Same thing, an overdose, and that one really hurt. I grew up with him, known him since he was a toddler, and that one hit me like a ton of bricks because it was so unexpected. And our community was rocked by that one. There's a lot of people in the town of Woburn that was cool with him, friends with him. He was a friendly guy. He was the guy that everybody loved. So,
that's right.
And the stigma is crazy because the powers that be have done a remarkable job of kind of demonizing the addict.
Absolutely.
And everybody always, it's their choice, it's what they decided to do, this, that, and the third. A lot of these people start off as great kids. These are sons, these are brothers, these are friends, these are good people that fell into an addiction. And I could tell you Colton is one of the friendliest. I wrote a dedication song to him called Heart of Gold. He had a heart of gold. And he was such a good person. And much like Colton, there's a lot of good people that we're losing to this.
I wish I could have, I wish I knew about that video because I would have put that on too. I think you're very, very talented.
Thank you.
I think you should do you should do more on this.
Well, this is actually my second
On addiction?
drug-related, yeah. The first one is called Tears. I released it. I didn't really push it the way I should have. And I used it, I went about it as rapping as if I was the parent of an addict, watching the person slowly deteriorate basically and ultimately come to a demise. But I wish I worded it differently because I used some words that I probably shouldn't have. But I did it as an angry parent. You know what I mean? I was trying to speak as an angry parent to kind of drive the point. But I didn't do a video or anything like that, which was important this time around. I think with the poison, I think people need to see the video. They need to see the effects. So I reached out to people. I had people come by. I put out a message: if you're struggling, or if you have a relative or whatever, you want to represent that individual with a picture, bring the picture. If you're unable to come to the video, email me a picture. I will make sure that that person is commemorated, because we need to put faces to the names. We need people to see the people that have gone. That these are people that were loved.
Definitely.
And
my son was such a caring, loving, and a lot of times they're very, very sensitive to begin with, and they don't feel, well, like I said, his reason to becoming addicted was because of a motorcycle accident in Woburn, and, you know, having to go to the Mass General Hospital, and the doctors put him on OxyContin.
Right.
So he fought a 10-year battle. He even had me section him. This is Maui, you know, sectioned me, and he was in Brockton at the time, with just that men's facility just opened up, and he was there for a month. But it just wasn't going to work for him. You know, the addiction, he was so deep in the addiction. I don't think that he felt that he was ever going to really come out of it. And like I said, 2 days before he died, he cried saying that he didn't want to die. But unfortunately, you know, his struggle was hard. It was hard for him. It was hard for me to be a parent watching it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And the thing is that you have to want to be able to help yourself, even though it's not your choice. But you fight that battle every day of your life. You know, and sometimes, like we last, did you know Mike Phillips?
Mike Phillips.
He was one of the people that were in the show. I wanted your video to show over and over again, but I guess it's going to be ours and yours.
That's fine.
But I'd rather.
I've seen that video many times. I've seen that video many times. So
well, you know what? I would love to see it a lot more.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I would like to perform that as much as possible, just to even get it out there. So I'm going to be talking to some people, and hopefully I can get on some gigs or something to kind of really get that message out there.
That's great. I really, like I said, I really was impressed by it.
Thank you.
And I am going to have an event. I'm looking at March, where it's going to be people in recovery and a buffet, and, you know, have people come and talk about the addiction, and maybe we'll be able to get funds for sober living, as well as, and I've mentioned it last week, about burying people. I mean, there's a huge, people need money to be able to bury their loved ones. Yeah. So that to me is just as important as the people in recovery and needing a sober house.
Yeah, right.
So it's two spectrums, you know, and that was these are my goals. Yeah. I already do a scholarship up at the high school in my son's name. And that's something that this is going to be the 4th year that we've been doing, as 4th or 5th year. Great. So when I do eventually have that, I'd like to have you come. Because I have artists that's their recovery, you know, they draw about addiction and everything else, and, you know, it helps them.
Right.
Just like music.
Yeah.
Although you didn't have a problem with addiction.
Not at all.
Aren't you lucky?
Well, I
Just think about it.
I saw it firsthand. I grew up. We grew up in Woburn, and we were when I was young. We were a church-going family. You know, we were quiet, suburban. We were in the projects, but I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. We moved to Dorchester, and my siblings were older. They were entering the prime years of their teenage lives. So they went from being quiet, suburban, to being in the city where everything's right at their disposal. So they got involved in some stuff. You know, they were hanging around gang members. They were hanging around people that, you know, the drugs were all over the place. In the 80s, you know, that was really a time for that. So at that point, I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. I promised my mom, I made a promise. I said, I will never touch a drug in my entire life, because I saw what she had to deal with the others, and it's a promise I've been able to keep until this point.
She must be very proud of you.
Well, she is, and yeah, I'm the favorite son, right? Or the only son, anyway. I have only sisters, but I'm the youngest, so I get away with a lot.
Not only was baby boy too.
The only boy, but luckily I've been able to, and I also
You'll always be her baby, you know.
Right. My wife knows that. She knows that firsthand. But
and she's right there.
She's in the room. But I've also grew up around good friends that never pressured me into it. as much as some of them may have been involved in some of the stuff, they never pushed it in to try this. This is good stuff, or whatever the case may be. Hi, try this stuff. They never really pushed it on me. So, you know, I owe a lot of gratitude to them as well.
So you live in New Hampshire.
I do.
Thank you for coming all the way here for
problem.
this
Thank you
interview
for
and this
having me.
rain.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. 93 South can be a little bit of a ride, especially in these conditions, but it's not a problem.
I do go up to New Hampshire to a meeting called Mercy Street that's in Plastow. And I really do like it. And it's a hard ride. I mean, especially when you're leaving Somerville to go up there, it takes an hour.
Right.
Because you're going through rush hour. And then on the way home, it's only 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Well, I mean, if you go on Plastow, that's a little further. I'm in Salem, so it's a straight shot, 93.
Right. Yeah.
So, and speaking of New Hampshire, reading up on the overdoses and stuff, New Hampshire's ranked 3rd in the country as far as overdoses. Massachusetts is 7th, and the remainder of the New England states are in the top 25. So this.
And what a place to be in the top.
Right, and I was horrified when I read that, to know that this is home. This is what we are seeing on a daily basis. I believe it was something like 30 to 32 deaths for every 100,000, which doesn't seem like a crazy number, but in a nation of, what, 400 million, I'm sorry, those numbers pile up. That's 72,000 a year. That's 72,000 every 365 days. That is astronomical.
That's just true. Too many.
Too many.
So I always ask, and when I talk to people, it's like, it doesn't matter what you do, but do something.
Right.
If you don't do it right the first time, well, try it again and again and again. Because I'd rather see less people die than worry if you get it right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they don't want to show a certain video because it shows kids how, you know, to have a party, put the drugs in the... You know, I don't know if you saw If Only. Did you see that movie yet?
Which one?
If Only.
No.
Okay, it's put out by the Jimmy Wahlberg,
Yeah.
and it's basically the family is in Tewksbury. This, you know, and talks about 2 different families. You know, one went to recovery and the other one died, and it's like, you know, to go to the house and say, I just want you to know that, you know, that my son's in rehab, and well, I don't think I should let my son hang around with yours anymore.
Right.
That's what she said. And then in the meantime, the child's dying upstairs, and they're beautiful, beautiful, anywhere from $750,000 home to you know, almost $1 million home now.
And this is called If Only?
Yeah.
Is it on like,
If Only.
it's on DVD or Netflix or something?
Well, you know, I think it might, I know that I've seen it on, looked it up and was able to view it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll
But
definitely
he's
check
been
it out.
going around the country. I was in Maryland, I think, a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks ago. We went to Wahlberg's to have dinner, and it was on him. And he was in Maryland showing the show, If Only. And he's doing he had done another one in New Hampshire.
Yeah?
Yeah, I forget the name of that one.
I have to check that out.
Yeah. So they're actually trying to have parents and wake up. Wake up. This is really, really a big issue. And
Huge.
we need to think about it a lot, you know, talk about it a lot more, because once you're gone, you're gone. There's
Right.
no way of these people ever coming back.
And the stigma is just...
Still
mean,
here.
It's still here. And people have the right to their opinions. And
They
that's
do.
fine. But what bothers me is you have all these opinions, but you offer no solution. It's one thing to sit there and say, well, this person's a J word, or this person they chose to do this, they chose to do that. All right, well, what is your solution? Because something needs to be done.
Right.
Right?
That would be a good idea.
I
Ask
mean-
them if this is what you feel about the person of addiction. What do you think would be a good solution?
Right. I mean, we can't just sit back and watch somebody die every 12 minutes.
No,
I mean, it's
72,000 a year. It went from 60, was it 63, to 72.
It's climbing.
We don't even know what the numbers will be at the end of this year.
I mean, that's annually 6 times more than handguns. This is the kill. This is the ultimate killer in this country. And it's not always just the corner hustler that's distributing the stuff. This is bigger than that.
Absolutely, it's huge.
This is bigger than that. I mean, you take a look, and I seen this I saw this on a comedy special, and it was funny, but it's so true. When you watch TV in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. First of all, that's a target audience. You know who's watching TV at that time. What are they showing you? They're showing you infomercials. All they're showing you is take this pill, take this pill, take this pill. This is going to help your back, or this is going to help this is going to help that. So they're trying to get you hooked on their drugs, right? They don't want you to get high off the corner guy's drugs. They want you to get high off their drugs. That's why they're plastering this stuff all over the TV until there's a symptom that fits yours. And you say to yourself, I'm going to get that pill. And that's how it starts in most cases. That's why in the song I make the comparison to AIDS. I mean, we call AIDS a disease, but it's preventable, much like addiction is. You know, it starts with a choice, much like addiction did. You know, and people always say, oh, that's a disease, and this isn't. Addiction's a disease. It may start off as a choice just like AIDS, but it's a disease.
Well, like I said, it becomes debatable.
Right.
Because of the stigma.
Right. And once we can get rid of the stigma, then we can really dive in and take care of, you know, try to find a solution to this. But as long as that stigma is there, we can't get 100% from everybody that we need to get 100% from. And it's an uphill battle. It's a constant, everyday struggle.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it around. I've seen it in my family. I've seen it in a lot of friends. I've seen it in people that I grew up with, young people, older people. It's constant. I've been to 3 wakes in the last 7, 8 months, and it's all drug-related.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not just OxyContin.
No.
And it's not even just, they're lacing weed. They're lacing, you know, even pills to look like OxyContin. And then they have fentanyl and carfentanil.
Yeah, fentanyl stuff, my goodness. I also said in the song, how am I supposed to raise mine, knowing that fentanyl's being supplied the city next to the one where we reside? It's a city that I keep seeing in the news. It's right next door to my city that this stuff is getting in there. Stuff's getting in there and it's being shipped out. You know, it's a whole new high.
Do you know that in Manchester, New Hampshire, at the police station, there is a facility right next to it? The fire department, I mean, not the police station, the fire department. And they have their own, like, ward. Because it's huge. You have huge problems up in New Hampshire.
Oh, big time.
When it comes to the addiction. And I was totally amazed that that's what they did in Manchester. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Right next to the fire department.
And I see people all the time, well, why is Narcan free and we have to pay for, like, insulin, for example? And it's like, that's the stigma once again. That's once again, you're demonizing.
Well, I'm a diabetic.
You know what I mean? Well, I'm just using that as an example. But at the same time, I feel like as long as there's addiction, there's business. Unfortunately, the drug business is a business.
Right.
And as long as I see it, the way I see it is they're going to offer free stuff for you to stay upright so that they can continue to make money off of you. At least that's how I see it anyway. It's a dirty business, but this is just what it is. And this is why I feel like we're basically at war with this. And we're basically on our own. And it's on us to make a difference.
Yes, it is. But yet, they rally about everything else.
Right.
No, I'm a woman. No, women's rights. Okay. Okay. Immigrants, illegal immigrants, fighting at the, you know, down at the border.
At the border, yeah.
But yet, if you discuss addiction, very few people come out to talk about it,
right,
or to even rally against it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Because they
sad.
see it as a problem that was self-inflicted. And the higher-ups are going to see it as, you're messing with my money. Or at least that's how I see it anyway.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
You know the shacklers I told you, $14 billion they make.
Right.
So they supposedly have an antidote now.
Right.
And in my video, when I was down in D.C., I walked by and I had all the pictures of a lot of the parents that have lost their kids. Their pictures were hanging up, like leaning up against a wall. And I said, well, you know what? If they have an antidote, then they should just supply it for the people that have become addicted to their,
So the mess they basically created.
That's right.
Right.
Instead of them making another 14 billion trying to, if it's all about money, shame on them.
Yeah.
And they knew about this being addictive. So Maura Haley, go for it. I hope you do, end up winning this case, because my son's gone. No matter how much money they even would throw at me, not that I would ever really, I would use the money for addiction or, like I said, for burying people. This is horrible.
It's terrible. No parent should ever have to bury their kid under
No.
any circumstance. It's a shame. So, and with the video and seeing these people that, or some of the women that I've never met until that day, I try to make this thing to inspire, and I left inspired.
Right.
Their strength is amazing.
Well, you know what? They have strength because they have each other to lean on.
Right.
And I know a lot of those. I saw the pictures of the children, even if I didn't see them, the parents. I did see some people that I do know. And they were down in Washington as well with me.
Yeah.
A lot of them came that weekend. We walked up to the White House, the same thing, to walk up to the White House and back. I just only hoped it would really, really help. The one thing that I noticed that when I went, the first time I went to Washington, Banyan Treatment Center had shipped, we got a bus through them to go up. And it was a 2-day event. And one of them was Face the Addiction with Greg Williams. And the other one was the Fed Up Rally. And so it was a 2-day event. No one knew we were there. There were no television, no newspaper articles. And I was really sad to see that.
Right. It's
That
like
here we have this huge problem, and all these people want is you to see it, and they don't show it.
it's being swept.
Yeah. Well, I did, when I came back, I did go to my local paper, well, Somerville News Weekly, and I did a little article, because you wouldn't believe the people that were there. Sheryl Crow, Steven Tyler. All these actors that and bands that were in recovery from addiction, that came out for that event. Surgeon General, Obama being live streamed. No one knew. But that's pretty sad that we've gotten to this point where no one wants to talk about it.
It's like swept under
Because
the
you'll
rug.
we don't want to be ashamed.
That's,
Never mind being ashamed of your child or any of your loved one, because you had a problem with it. And is it better just to, after they're 6 feet under, say that you should have did something about it?
right.
No. It's very, very important. We need to educate the parents. The kids need to be more educated, because a lot of them are smart. They know what's going on.
Right.
But it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not going to happen to me. Not my town. There are other towns that happens in, and not so much here. And it's people.
It doesn't discriminate.
It doesn't discriminate. I don't do it a lot, or I do, oh, I just need to, my body hurts and I just need to take it for this and that. And
Denial.
denial, a lot of that, you know.
There's a problem. But there you go. There's Matt sticking his head in the middle of us.
Yeah, and Matt, I reached out to Matt because he is so good at this. His messages are always so powerful. And when I wrote the song, I knew that I needed something else to really drive the point. I don't care how long the song was going to be. I said, I need this to be something powerful. So I got in touch with Matt. I sent him the idea, and he was with it.
Absolutely.
About a week and a half after I contacted him, we both went into the studio, we recorded it, and then I came up with the idea for the video, which the video I didn't know how to go about it at first because I wanted it to be more than just a Say No to Drugs campaign or something different from what you've heard in the past, you know? So I needed it to be somewhat graphic, but not over the top graphic. I don't want people to see something and say, oh man, I can't watch that again. So I needed it to be in your face, but at the same time, something that has a lot of emotion. So that's where the idea with the photos and the moms and people who lost somebody came into play. And we also integrated, as you can see, we integrated clips of maybe somebody that was going through an overdose, or I actually put Mac Miller, who was a hip hop artist that recently passed away. He overdosed, I want to say about a month ago. And that's the reason I'm wearing a Pittsburgh hat in the video, is because he's from Pittsburgh. He was a Pittsburgh rapper. And that was kind of like a dedication type thing that I did. It doesn't discriminate. I mean,
No.
we saw Demi Lovato who nearly lost her life. The singer Demi Lovato, her addict came, gave her the drugs, saw her go into an overdose and left her. Just ran off and left her there. And luckily they were able to save her. It doesn't discriminate. You could be broke from the broke kid from the block, or you could be a famous entertainer. This thing is coming to get you.
Well, look at billionaires have lost their own children, and all the money in the world didn't help them.
No.
You know, you're right. Jimi Hendrix. What is he talking about? Purple haze, heroin. Janis Joplin.
Right.
You're looking at people that. Who? Possibly. I don't really recall the year, but it was like, he's well known. I mean, look at Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
There's so many people. Prince.
Oh, God, that one. That one really left a mark, because I came up on music. I love music. Michael Jackson's my ultimate music influence, but you love, you got to love
What
Prince.
actually did he die of? I know it had to do with drugs.
Propofol. He went to cardiac arrest. Some of us believe that he's still alive in a country somewhere, just to hide away
You'd like to believe it. He's with Elvis.
Right. Yeah, entertainers. Amy Winehouse was dealing with her issues as well.
Right.
And these people are all going at early ages.
And they all know. They all know what drugs could do to you.
Right.
And then now they're gone.
Sad.
It is very, very sad.
Sad.
Now, how old are your children?
My oldest is 18, and my youngest is 8, and my nephew that I took in is 19.
19. How long have you had him, your nephew?
I had him about a year and a half.
Okay, so you have addiction in your family.
I do.
Oh, hello.
He's watching the show.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
He's a very good kid. He's very supportive. Every time I have a new song or whatever, he's always, yo, my uncle, this and that. He's blasting it. And I think he listens to it more than I do, to be honest. But he's a really good kid.
He looks up to you.
Yeah, I mean.
And that's a good thing, though.
Thank you.
You are his parent.
And based on what he's seen, he tries to stay away from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy I have him. I wanted him for a long time, to be honest. And me and my wife has been so supportive, and she's done so much to help.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
like we talked earlier, there's 37,000 grandparents raising their grandchildren. How many others besides grandparents are raising children, whether they be uncles, you know, cousins or whatever?
It's crazy.
It is.
I know,
It's horrible.
I mean, I know a few people I grew up with that were raised by their grandparents. I have a friend who lost his mom right in the living room sofa in his teenage years, and he went to live with his grandmother and stuff like that. It's crazy.
You know, I think it was like several years ago. I don't know if it was on Main Street. I think there was a vehicle that ended up going into a gas station.
Main Street here or Main Street
Main
Woburn?
Street Woburn.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it was 2 people OD'd in a truck, a Jeep or something like that.
How long ago was that?
It was about 4 or 5 years ago, but it was like, my first thought was overdosing,
Right.
you know, and it's like, oh my God. How many accidents that have been out there have been related to actually drugs and not even alcohol?
Right. But instantly you think drunk driver. You can't even think that anymore.
No, you don't know.
No. It's wild.
It is like, wow, it's amazing. I can't believe it. But recovery is possible.
It is, totally. Yeah, we were in Florida a couple weeks ago, and we were at a McDonald's parking lot, and I had this guy come up to the car, and he asked me if I spoke Spanish. I told him no, because I knew where he was going. Even though I speak Spanish fluently, but he was really strung out for money, and I knew I couldn't give him any money because I know where it was going. And there was another guy in the very same parking lot who was completely done, leaning on the trash barrel, and he was like a zombie just swaying back and forth. And I couldn't believe how many people walked by this guy, almost as if it's a common thing. People were walking by with their food and just letting him be. We circled around. When we went back around, he was gone. But I couldn't believe how everyone just went about their business.
I'm telling you, that's what happened to me one day. I was coming out of MORE, which is Mass Organizations for Addiction Recovery. I was there volunteering during the summer because I don't work during the summer. And when I came out, there was this young man that was just hanging on scaffolding. And I watched people walk by like nothing was on. I'm saying, my God, what should I do? You know, being a woman and being an older woman, you know, you don't know how to approach someone because you're afraid. Well, first, you know, if they're overdosing. You know, my first thought was, here he is, his socks rolled down on his feet. He's hanging there. That definitely has to be overdosing. So I went looking to see if I can get someone to help, and I saw a police car, and there was nobody in there. And then I saw a man with a uniform coming in. He was transit authority. I said, oh, you can't help me. I think I am bad. He probably could have helped me, but automatically, what was that, stigma? Oh,
Right.
you're just an MBTA guy. You can't help me. Shame on me for that.
I mean,
And then finally, I saw a police officer come out of the store, and he says, "Oh no, we called it in." "Oh, you did?" It's okay. So here I am. I get on the train. I'm going the wrong way, and I realized that I was going the wrong way. That's how upset I was about it.
right.
So I'm waiting for the train to come back and go the opposite way. And I called 911 to find out. And they said, yes, they were taking care of it. I just didn't feel comfortable at that point, just letting it go. I needed to find out. Because I don't want to see anybody die. If I
No.
can help, I'm gonna try to help. Whether it is someone looking for recovery and wants help, or just someone that's there. I've seen it at Sullivan Station, you know, twice. I don't know if it was the same day or, you know, a couple of days in between. That one woman is like ready to fall and banging up against a column.
Right.
And then someone on the bench, and it's like as soon as he got a phone call and he woke up, I went, that's great. I can go on, you know. Because what happens is when you're taking OxyContin, that it's like it's a muscle relaxant, you know what I mean?
Right.
And your heart's a muscle, your lungs are muscles, and you forget to breathe, and that's why you die. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. All I can say is that together we can make things happen.
Right.
But we need to have more people, a community effort, a state effort, a
Right.
federal effort, whatever it takes to try to curb this epidemic, which is no longer an epidemic, it's a pandemic.
Mm.
And we all need to get together and shut those people down. Do you know that they just made, the FDA approved a
I
drug
think I saw this.
that, did you see that?
Yeah.
It's like 100 times more, it's morphine. But morphine that's 100 times stronger. It's like, why do we need these strong drugs?
I don't get it. You know,
I don't get it either. It's kind of ridiculous. But yet, the FDA wants to stop, was it menthol cigarettes? Have we all gone nuts?
right. Bizarre world.
Let's see. We can't control opioids
Right.
and stronger drugs. We're going to have to worry about menthol cigarettes.
Priorities.
Priorities. Because they don't want to mess with big guys with the money.
Right. It's a
Sad.
business. It's crazy. There's a story that this one really. I was in Everett. This was a few years ago. This is the first time I ever saw what I imagined was an overdose.
Mm-hmm.
I was in my work truck, and there was an ambulance in front of me, and I couldn't get around because of the way they were positioned. So I basically had to sit there. And these paramedics came rushing out with a stretcher, and a man who was probably late 20s, early 30s, shirt ripped, a pump in his chest. His face is completely blue. Wheeling him right in front of me. I'm making eye contact with, his eyes were closed, but that haunted me for so long and stayed with me for a while.
Did he die?
Seeing that, I don't know. They wheeled him into the ambulance and they took off, and it's not something that you see on your average work day.
No.
And that is,
Unfortunately, it's starting to be.
yeah, that really bothered me a lot. I had to pull over and really gather myself.
You are probably the person I should be talking to. My son actually wrote a song
Yeah?
about the addiction
Well,
and how upset he was that he wanted someone to punch him in the face. You know, it's an angry song. And I've been trying to get someone to put it into music.
really?
Yeah, I'm going to have to find it. He did have a journal. And I'm almost positive that I stuck that envelope into the journal, and I'll have to find it
Yeah,
and give it to you, and maybe you can do something with it.
please.
But it
let
was
me-
his words,
Right.
being an addict,
Mm-hmm.
and how he felt. He just wanted someone to come and hit him. Whether it was to put him out of misery, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing with music is you form ways of expressing yourself.
Right, and he loved music. So I tried to give it to 2 other people to do it, and it's just like it didn't go anywhere. Probably because it wasn't their type of music. But then again, rap might be different,
Mm.
you know, because he used to sing rap,
Right.
you know, and you know, he was pretty talented. Not because he was just my son, but I thought he was talented in many, many ways.
Yeah, of
I
course.
always say, put it to words. I asked him, why don't you just start a journal?
Mm.
You know, you're funny. You know, you could be a comedian. Whatever. I wanted to have him find something else because he was at the point where he was home a lot
Mm.
and he didn't go out because he had his own stigma. You
Right.
know, and that's right. He didn't want to hear what people had to say.
Yeah. Well, you express yourself, you get that out. You know, it's better than to keep it all bottled up.
So when's your next video coming out?
I'm not sure. I have an idea for the next video.
Oh, good.
It touches on autism. I did a song with. I recorded a song about autism. My youngest is autistic, so it was a dedication to him. So if and when.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, if and when we do the video, then we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. I have some ideas for that, and he's
listening.
Yeah, he's watching.
Oh, you don't want him to know?
No, he knows. He knows he's part of the song. I have him in the song actually.
Oh, and he's probably very proud of that.
Yeah, he is. He loves it.
But also a degree of autism. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
He's high functioning, and you meet him, you would never know. But there's certain things where you can really see it. But he's made some incredible strides. So.
Well, he's lucky that he has both of you as parents.
Yeah, well, mom does a phenomenal job. She has a lot of patience, and she's very caring. So.
And that's why you're here with them.
That's why she's my rock. She's my partner in crime. So.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is. Do you realize that we're almost out of time?
No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Well, we have like 10 minutes. Is there anything that you would like to say to the audience besides saying hello to your children? Go ahead.
Well, I know that there are people that were involved in the video that are watching. So again, I want to tell them, thank you for being a part of it, and thank you for your strength, for your inspiration. You guys really helped to make this video what it was, and together we're gonna push forward, and we're really gonna go to war with this thing, and hopefully we're gonna get the results that we're looking for.
And I hope you do too, because we need some answers as to how we can conquer this huge problem that everybody's faced with every day.
Every day.
Like they say, 80% of the country is affected by addiction.
Mm.
And when's the next 20% going to be affected?
Well, these numbers are not going down, and it's on us to, us together as a group, as an army, to go in on it, to make a difference.
Yeah. There's so many people every day that suffer, even though they're in recovery. Every day's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
To be abstinent, to be free from addiction, and that's why a lot of times they do need to work in the field, because, to help others. Once you shy away from, that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah, my friend who I grew up with, he battled addiction. His mom passed away when he was really young, teenager. She was a suicidal overdose, and he battled with it. He battles with it now. He's trying to sober up. It's been up and down. With him is when he comes off, everything that he was numb to, he starts to feel.
That's true.
So he lost his sister. So the emotion.
Also to addiction?
No, she was really sick, and she ended up passing away. So he never really mourned her like he would have, because he was so high. Now those emotions.
Numbing, actually, right. Sometimes.
Those emotions are all hit him at once, and he's fell into a really deep depression, and he goes back onto the drugs, and then he comes off, goes back. And, I mentioned him in the song. A friend who rehabilitated, all that whole line was about him, and he's been my friend since we were toddlers. So I'm in constant back and forth with him. I text him at times, make sure everything's good, and hopefully he's able to stay on that straight and narrow.
How did you have help with this? I mean, to me, it's amazing. The whole production.
Well, the video was done by my brother-in-law, Pablo. He has his pen pushes photography. He's doing actually a lot of big things. He's recorded some big names. He did something recently with the Red Sox through a champagne sponsor. So his clientele is getting really good, and his work is incredible as he put that together.
Yes.
I was blown away when he sent it to me, like blown away. He does a fantastic job. The song itself, I wrote it from start to finish. Matt obviously wrote his portion, and the Poison, I wrote it, the first verse very quickly. It was like I went to the wake of my friend and everything just came up and just I attacked the song like it was fast. The second verse I kind of, I pieced together because I was mentioning names and everything, so I really had to think of how I wanted to do it. But it was something that I needed to get out there. Very important. I felt like it was very important. A lot of my music is like that. I wrote a song on depression called Gray Skies. I wrote so many different things.
Why don't you just put it all together on one CD or one?
Oh, I do. It's all
You
part
have
of a
them all
project that that I
good.
have out. It's called Success of a Failure, which is available on internet. It's download exclusive. You go on datpiff.com, you search Navigator Success
tell
of
them
a
Again.
Failure.
Tell the people.
Okay, Navigator Success of a Failure. You go on datpiff.com and you search that, DATPIFF.com. Search Navigator Success of a Failure. You'll get volume 1 and volume 2. There's about 15 total tracks. There's a lot of different messages on these tracks, and it includes the Poison.
And they're all important issues.
Yeah, I try to.
Depression,
I'm a
autism.
41-year-old man. I can't sit there and talk about girls with big butts and big nice cars. It just won't look right, especially being a married man with kids. So I have to go in a different direction.
No. I'm going to have to, you're going to have to write that down.
I
I'm
will.
old.
All right, well, yeah, well, all right.
I forget a lot of things.
I do too, believe it or not. I do.
You do?
I
At
forget-
41?
I do. I forget. You could ask my wife. She'll tell you that. Mostly things like,
My son would have been 41. Frankie was born in 77,
yeah.
July 16th.
Oh,
So it's like, yeah,
it's a few months away.
absolutely. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to
But
be
I would
here.
never believe he was 41. I thought he was a lot younger.
See, now my wife is gonna sit there and she's like, another one thinks you're younger. Hey, I don't know. I try to stay young anyway. My head, she thinks that my head's gonna get big, but I'm all right.
No. You'll
No,
keep
never
him
that.
grounded.
Absolutely.
No, but very, very talented. I will tell you that.
Thank
That
you.
is
I appreciate that.
amazing.
I
That's
appreciate
why
it.
I said I got to get him on my show.
Hey, I'm ready. I was ready to go.
I know.
Anytime.
And I'm very, very happy that you did. And we're actually going to be stopping in a half a minute.
Mm.
Thank you both for coming down on this miserable night.
And Matt Gainham, thank you for what you brought to the
I'm
table.
so
man.
sorry
He's-
Matt wasn't able to be here tonight
No.
because I would love to have interviewed him as well.
Mhm.
He's come a long way,
Yeah,
and he's doing great things.
He's an inspiration, big time.
Oh yeah, I'm always proud of him and all the hard work that he puts into it. He deserves it.
Mm.
Gratification, even though he doesn't look for it.
Right.
Yeah. So Moore is going to have their annual Christmas party in Worcester.
Mm.
Matt's going to be there.
No.
Last year he was awarded an award from them.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, I think
It
he did the
was.
Recovery Fest as well in Manchester, right?
Yes, he was.
In front of a lot of people.
Yep,
I saw
and
the
I was
footage
out
on
there
that.
cheering him on.
Oh, that was awesome.
Good night, everyone.
Take care.
And thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you. It was a pleasure.
Although YouTube is still on, I'm going to go out and get Stuart because he's out there talking so we can shut this off.
So I'm still on. So I gotta,
Yeah, you're still on. You can talk.
You want to come on camera? No. Wave to the people? My wife is, she acts like she's shy. I told my wife to make a cameo, but she wouldn't do it.
Oh, there's Tom. Do you know Tom Cacavaro
No, I don't.
and his wife, Marianne?
I'm fairly new to this stuff, so I'm sure I'll meet them though. What's that?
The Cacas. Hello, everybody. Stuart will shut this Are you still watching?
Still on?
I'm just asking. If you're still watching, we'll get to shutting it off soon. I'll leave that up to my man, Stuart. It's one of those classes I have to take. No, I've already taken the class on the cameras, being able to turn them and zoom in and all that stuff.
So what I can do is, I have it on Facebook, so I can send you the link to the entire album.
Oh, I heard that.
And my SoundCloud has some of the songs.
Well, I'll find it. And then I'll see if
Pretty
you
cool.
want to do
You
it.
know, you can really maybe make something of that, and then that would be good for like.
So you have to come in here with the keyboard